Hi, I'm Eric Youngstrom. I'm a professor of psychology and neuroscience and psychiatry at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I also am the co-founder and executive director of a nonprofit called HGAPS, Helping Give Away Psychological Science. We're dedicated to bringing the best information about wellness and mental health directly to the people who would benefit. You are getting a free copy of the slides, and down at the bottom, the little bit.ly address is for you to share with colleagues and friends. Please give the slides, the talk, the material to as many people as you think would be helpful. My goals are to share a lot of information but especially a lot of resources quickly. I want to put tools in the hands of people who can use them to help patients. And I want to start a conversation. I want to connect. I'm going to give you email addresses and feedback forms and other ways of making suggestions so that we can keep working together. I'm 52 years old. When I was an infant was when we were putting the first people on the moon. So 1969, I'm crawling around my parents' apartment and we have people walking on the moon. The world has changed a lot in those 5 decades. And one of the biggest changes is in computing power. So down in the bottom, we're looking at one of the first computers, the ENIAC, which was the size, it filled a room. And up in the top right corner, we're looking at one of the most expensive portable computers ever. It was the flight computer for the Apollo 11 that put those people on the moon. And on the left-hand side, we have your iPhone. And when we compare your iPhone to the flight computer of the Apollo 11, the heart of your phone beats 2,000 times faster than the clock in the computer on the Apollo 11, and your phone has 10,000 times more storage. And the costs have come down so much that it is something that we all can afford. We have our own supercomputer in our pocket. What I am going to do in the next 15 minutes is have your phone grab a whole bunch of checklists and rating scales and infographics so that you can use them with patients, so that you can share them with other people. So we're going to use this technology to give away resources and information. So the 501c3, the charity that I'm speaking on behalf of, is dedicated to bringing the best information about psychological science directly to the people who would benefit. And it started as a lab project that turned into a student club that grew into a charitable corporation in North Carolina and a 501c3. The graduate student who co-founded it with me, the one who got the party started, is Mian Leong. He's now at the Mayo Clinic, and he received the APA Citizen Psychologist Award in 2018 for starting HGAPS. And we're looking at a group of students who were volunteers in the lab and in HGAPS who started to gather the things that I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes. Over the last 2 years, we've expanded from me and Mian to having a board of directors with 16 members that are coming from 4 different countries and a tremendous range of disciplines and a lot of expertise. So we have people from Singapore, from Canada, from England, from Australia. We have the chair of the psychiatry department. We have the vice president for outreach of PracticeWise. We have reference librarians and bioinformaticians. And we've reorganized so that we have a board at the top and we have dozens of projects that are active at any given time, and team leaders who are the middle layer that's connecting the expertise of the board with the volunteers that are putting it into action. I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to be one of the speakers at this conference, because I'm speaking to a Zoom full of nurses. Nurses are the front line. They're the people that are the first contact with for most patients, and they work in you all work in so many different settings, and you're some of the best positioned professionals to assess what's going on, what are the needs of this particular person, and also to coach them and give them pro tips. And so putting the tools in your hands, giving you an upgrade with your smartphone is going to reach so many people, and giving you a way of making suggestions and giving us feedback is going to make the toolkit much better really quickly. So let's upgrade your phones. What I want you to do is pick up your phone and point it at the top left, top right corner. That's a QR code. And if you're holding an iPhone, then just pointing the camera at that, it's going to be like, hey, that's a QR code. I can read that. If you're using an Android like I am, then you'll need to pull down an app, or you could open a browser and you could type in the bit.ly address, bit.ly/HGAPS assess. Either way, it's gonna add this link to your phone. So now your phone knows how to find the assessment center. Again, this is the way that we're going to take years of work and a lot of resources and put them right in your phone. So if you open the link, what you'll be looking at is a web page, which is the point of entry for the assessment center that we've built online. And if you scroll down past the disclaimer to the assessment batteries, we have toolkits that are put together, and one click will open up the toolkit. And for the patient, it's going to feel like one survey that's covering several different topics. And as you read, we're laying out for you, here are the things that we're going to screen for. Here are the things that we're going to check for. But the key idea is this is in your phone now, and one click would take the person to the whole set, and they could fill it out on their phone. Just send them the link. They could do this in your office. You could email it to them ahead of the appointment. It could be a link on a school website or a clinic website. And you could text the link to the family or the caregiver, or have them do it in your office. Each thing in the assessment center includes an introduction and a disclaimer, gets very basic demographics. We're not tracking their address. We're not tracking their phone. We're not like Google. We're doing very basic demographics. And then we're going through the scales, which are the best of the free options in each of their categories. And then it scores it for you. So you're getting the scores, you're getting the assessment for free, it's scoring it for free, you're getting the score in real time. And it has links for resources for the general public, for more information, for treatment options, for you, as here are worksheets and things that you could give them. What's not in the assessment center are things that cost money. So no commercial tests, no neuropsychology or forensic tests, nothing that would be unethical for us to add to the assessment center. The types of resources that we're providing are free, and they're, as much as possible, they're national resources. They're things that you could access from anywhere in the United States. This is an international nursing conference, and most of the websites, the phone numbers and the chat lines are going to be US, Canada specific, but the websites all are going to be globally accessible. And the other thing that we put in the goodie bag for a Zoom full of nurses is the 4 clinicians. If you click that link, then you have 70 more scales. Same idea. It is something that you could send them a link, they could do it on their phone, and you have a menu now of 70 different things, 70 different things to choose from. And I'm going to go through the slides quickly because I'm giving you the slides. You can watch the recording of the talk again, but you actually are getting the link to the slides. So we have a lot of options. So we're not tying you to picking any particular one measure for anxiety or one scale for depression. And where we've spent years building this, now we want it to reach more people. So we're talking at conferences, we're putting it up on the web, we have TikToks and infographics, and we're tweeting about it, and student volunteers are using social media to try to extend the reach of this. We're working on translating all of these into other languages. If we could translate everything that we have from English into Chinese, Spanish, Arabic, Hindi, and Portuguese, those would be the first or second language for 4 out of 5 people on the planet. We're accepting all translations, and we're working on cloning the assessments in the toolkit and replacing the English questions with the Spanish questions, with the Mandarin questions. So if you have things that you use in your practice and they're available in other languages, email them to us, send them to this address. It'll put them in a folder organized so that we'll know what did you just send us and where would it be helpful for us to use it, to put it. For those of you that want to know, is there science behind these? I'm saying these are the best of the free. How do we know these are the best of the free? I am so glad you asked. For you, inquiring nurse, we have a free manual in the cloud. So another QR code, you can point your phone at this and it will take you right to the top of the book. And we're connecting everything to Wikipedia, to Wikiversity, to Wikidata. So we're connecting to Wiki because that's the single best way of reaching people around most of the world. So the resources, the toolkit that I've given you and the pages that we've edited on Wikipedia have been viewed. The slide says 170 million times. We actually just updated the check and it's up over 250 million times. You could print out the tech manual as a book. So on the web page, you can see create a book, and the picture is, to my knowledge, the only printed copy of the manual. I bought it. What you're paying for is the printing and the shipping costs. If you went back, when you go to this, it's grown. So the version that I got, 230 pages, it's now tripled in size. And again, if you wanted a paper copy, if you're old school like I am, then you could get a paper copy shipped to you as well. What you're paying for is the shipping and the printing cost. No money goes to HGAPS or anybody else, but you don't need to print it. It's already up on the web. It is in your phone with that QR code, and people are going there and they're looking at the details. So the pages in the tech manual in the cloud have been viewed 300,000 times and counting. When you do a Google search, when you do a Siri search, your phone is looking one of the first things it's looking at is a machine readable copy of Wikipedia called Wikidata. And it's using that to build the panels that are about the size of the screen of our phone for information about telepsychology, about mental health. So what we're trying to do is make it so that Siri works for us to help bring the best information where you can find it, where you can use it. So telepsychology, as an example, is something that we've had to learn a lot about quickly as we have had quarantines and social isolation. So HGAPS has gathered pro tips and the best information about current practices, best practices in using video conferencing for nursing, for mental health, pulled them all together on 2 web pages, one for you and me, for the professionals, and another one that we could send to our patients saying, hey, when you're getting ready for a counseling session or an evaluation by video conferencing, here's some tips about what to expect and what to do. And again, you could find these by doing a search or clicking on the web. If you use these QR codes, then you have them, one click takes you right there. And the last thing that I want to call out is that we're building infographics. These are pictures with links to resources, so you can see the QR codes that you're allowed to share. You don't need to ask us. And you could print these out and hang them on your office wall or in the hallway, or have them in the waiting room. Or you could email them to people, or you could put them on your website, or you could send the picture through Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media you're using. So this is another way of reaching out and putting the resources and the information directly in the hands of our patients. Everyone that we build has the letters CC BY on it. That's a Creative Commons license, which is stamping it, saying you're allowed to give this away. Give this to all of your patients. We would love that. Share this with all of your friends, all of your colleagues. We would love that. And then links to resources, pro tips. So this is the Creative Commons license. These are the pro tips that we want to put in front of our patients. And these are not random recommendations from the web. These are things that have been suggested or vetted by that board of scientific advisors. And always, 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 we're providing a link to more resources. We also have a YouTube channel that's new in the last 6 months and has already more than 100 different videos. A lot of them are how-tos about how to make an infographic, how to add information to Wikipedia, as we're teaching more and more volunteers how to pitch in and help. What I want to close with is talking about COVID-19 and how the pandemic was both a crisis and an opportunity. It forced us to switch to entirely online meetings. So we didn't cancel, we kept going, but everything that we have been doing, 2, 3, 4 meetings a week, has been volunteers getting together by Zoom. This has made us much better at figuring out how do we share the ideas and the information online. So we have infographics now about the mental health effects and how to do better self-care and how to promote wellness. So we've got infographics, we've got stress measures, looking at how has social isolation disrupted your life. So what you have in your phone now are an assessment center with 2 versions, one which you could give straight to patients, and a pro kit where you have 70 different things that could be going through and saying, for this particular patient, I would love to have you do this with me. You have a tech manual that's showing the science and how do we know what these numbers mean. You have more than 200 infographics about COVID and mental health and wellness and psychological first aid, and a bunch of coping with web pages. So you could have your patients do an e-packet instead of giving them a stack of questionnaires on a clipboard. You could send this to them as a text or an email, and you can pick one of the scales and check in with them. Are the things that you're doing actually making you feel less anxious? Last thing that I want to do is have you connect with us. So if you go to hgaps.org, you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We have a LinkedIn group. We have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It's a great way for us to share information with you, but also for the volunteers, every subscription, every like means a huge amount because they're donating time in the hopes that they'll help people that they've never met. So seeing that you're following them is really surprisingly powerful positive feedback. So that's what we have time for. I really am grateful for the opportunity to introduce you to HGAPS and to put the tools and the infographics right in your phone where you can use them to help people. Thank you for all the work that you're doing, literally all around the world. Together, let's make 2021 at least 10 times better. Thank you.